mentioned Canelo these days. You said specifically like that. Did you see something in the Jaime Munguia fight that tells you something about maybe where Canelo's at in his career? Did you see like a little slippage, or is it just, I don't know. Why is it that you say that?
I don't think it's that I see any slippage or anything. I think it's just that, when a fighter is already in his 30s, but he's gone through 60 fights in the past, 60 training camps, sparring matches. Sometimes the sparring matches are tougher than the fights. I think Canelo's already gone through all that, so I think he's at a point where he does enough just to win. I think Mayweather did the same later in his career, where you just do enough to win. I think there was a moment where Canelo could have maybe picked it up a little more, maybe could have stopped Munguia, but sometimes I could think he did it maybe not to damage Munguia's career, but then there's also the thought of maybe he doesn't do it because he doesn't want to take the risk of maybe getting hit by punches that he's not supposed to. At an advanced stage like that, I think fighters do think about stuff like that. Man, what if I try something else and I get caught with something that I'm not supposed to? Maybe just do enough just to continue winning the way he was, and that's also smart. So that's when he's younger, when the fighters are younger, they don't care. They go out there, they land a good punch, they go out there for the finish. I think Canelo's at a point where he also takes care of himself. He does, he's smart. He wants to live a healthy life after, with his family, his kids, where he's not damaged, because I'm pretty sure he sees so many fighters out there that are damaged. A lot of fighters can't communicate very well with their families. A lot of fighters have balance problems. A lot of problems have memory problems. I'm pretty sure he sees all that, and he's smart.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that might be the part of Canelo's career that we're in right now. Speaking of that, right, like His Excellency Turkis Al-Sheikh says that he seems to be really pushing for Crawford versus Canelo. Is that maybe the right kind of big fight for Canelo at this point? Maybe someone smaller than him, someone that people will still kind of question, okay, can he beat Canelo, but, maybe safer in the sense that it is a smaller guy, it's not a bigger guy, it's not, you're not going to be taking these big shots?
Well, I think it is a big fight. I think it is a big fight because Crawford's huge, pound for pound, number one to a lot of people, number two or number three, one of those for sure. And he does have skills. I think it'll be a fight that does really good numbers. I think it's a fight that will sell. Crawford will put up some good rounds. I think Canelo eventually, he's just a bigger guy, most experienced. I think eventually in the later rounds you'll probably catch him and maybe stop him. But Crawford will put up a good fight. I know that for a fact.
No, that's a great fight. Man, just boxing stuff I want to get to. I've heard you and your son Peter talk about, kind of Ryan's situation with the PEDs and all that stuff. Peter seems very vocal about the fact that Ryan and his dad and them were, kind of coming out right after, like, oh, why would they let me fight if the test was before? But we all kind of know the tests take about a week to come back. Does that, I don't know, what does that say about, like, them that they were saying that stuff? Was it just kind of try to get, like, the public on their side? Or how do you receive that, them saying that, knowing, kind of what you know about the test and how long they take?
You know what? They're smart and they know how to do it. The public doesn't know that. A lot of people might think, well, if they test them right before the fight, why did they let them fight? It's not like, a pregnancy test you don't know right away. You know what I mean? This test take at least a week or 2 weeks before you get the results, but a lot of people don't know that, so people do believe it. You know what? I truly believe that there is a chance that Ryan had no idea. I'm telling you, I've seen it before. I've seen many other fighters. They trust their team. They hire a conditioning coach, a nutritionist, a dietitian, whatever. And they give them vitamins, they give them vitamin shots, whatever. And the fighters don't know. They believe in their team. And I could really believe that Ryan had no idea what he was taking, because you trust your team. Sometimes you trust your tia, your tío, your abuela, give you something that they bring from Mexico. It's true, bro. It's true, 100%. So is it possible that Ryan had no idea, and that's why he's fighting that he's not positive, that it's a lie, that's not? Yeah. Did he test positive? Yes, because both A and B came out positive, then he's got to deal with this with the consequences. But is it possible that he had no idea? I do believe so, because it does happen. You know, fighters believe in their trainers, their conditioning coach, their nutritionist, and they take whatever they give them.
The unfortunate thing of the whole thing is, you know, Devin took a beating that night, right? Like, Ryan knew what he was, knew what he was taking or not, rather, like, the damage was done. I heard Peter kind of say something like that. The damage is kind of already done to a Devin Haney. I mean, even if he gets the loss removed and, becomes undefeated again, I mean, how do you approach, like, say if you were in Devin's corner, how do you approach kind of building back up a fighter like that after taking a beating like that?
I don't think that getting the decision reversed to where he's done. That's not the beating is already there. So you still got beat up pretty bad. So that's not going to help him anything. Maybe himself personally in his mind and his heart. Oh man, I'm undefeated. I wouldn't be so happy about that either if I was a fighter, because I still took a beating. But I think Devin, even though he's still a champion and he has to defend his title, and it might be against his mandatory, from what I understand, Sandro Martin. If it was my call, I wouldn't even be champion right now. I wouldn't be so happy that I'm still champion. I'll probably just go back, start with a couple stay busy fights, just to know where we're at after that beating he took. I wouldn't. I said the same thing about Spence, even though he's coming back to fight Fundora, which is not going to be very easy. I thought he'd be, where he comes and takes a few lighter fights just to see where he's at. I think that's the same situation right now with what's his name? Devin.
I lost it too.
Yeah, me too. I lost it. Devin. I would rather him do a few, one or two stay busy fights, just to see where he's at, how he feels, to see how through training camps too, because you got to go through a full training camp, at least 2 months. So you want to see that too. What if they pick the wrong opponent and during training camp he starts feeling that, fuck, maybe I did lose a little bit and I need more time to get back to where I was before. That's what you got to think ahead. I would do that with him, and like I said, with Spence too. But that's their call, and they're also warriors. He's also a champion, so he wants to defend his title. So he might have to do his mentor, which is not against a dangerous opponent, but it is a difficult one, right. A very difficult one. Yes, a very difficult one.
Man, I just want to get into one of your other fighters, Virgil. Man, the fight with him and Tim Tszyu, the one that that fight is stacked with big fights. That card is stacked with big fights, and I was telling everyone I thought that was the best one. Unfortunately, Tzew's still not ready. It kind of made sense, right? Because that was a big old gash on his head. Have you heard anything? Anybody new? I heard Sergey Buachek's kind of in there. I don't know. Is anybody else?
That's the name that they brought up to us, and I'm okay with that too, because he's the interim WBC champion. Spence and Fundora fight for the WBC, and that puts the winner, if it's Virgil. Like I said, I don't like looking past our opponents, but if it is Virgil, then puts him in position to maybe fight for the world title against the winner of those. And imagine if Spence is to pull it off, fighting at the Cowboy Stadium, it would be huge. It would be huge. So yeah, we do see the future. We do see, we actually got to prepare for the opponent first, but we do have to see the future. But as of right now, they've mentioned that name, but there's nothing official. There's nothing official. Ryan Garcia also mentioned that he wants to fight Virgil. So we don't know. I think Ryan has to deal with his situation first. But Ryan is game. I think he will fight. I think Ryan will. Ryan does that. He will fight.
He's filling in on the off time too. You can see he's like kind of getting up there. Man, lastly, just a lot's been happening, especially in the pound for pound area, right? Like Inoue gets dropped by Neary, but comes back and dominates. Some people had him kind of leapfrogging Terrence after that. I didn't really understand that, but I can see Usyk obviously defeating Tyson Fury. That was incredible. Just who is your top, like, say, 5 pound for pound? Like, how do you shake those out?
You know what? I do put Usyk as number 1 now. That performance, that fight, heavyweight division, he has to be number 1. And right after him, I put Crawford, because Inoue has been busier and is dominating also. But, Crawford, Crawford's win to become undisputed was against another, the number one or the number two pound for pound fighter of the world, and the way he did it was just unbelievable. So I think Crawford's number one, Inoue number three. After that, I guess it's who you ask and who you talk to. I like Shakur's skills, very good skills. I still love Lomachenko. I still put him up there. Lomachenko's skills are unbelievable. Tank could also be there, but let's not leave Bivol out. Bivol also, he beat Canelo, and he had a great performance just recently too. So there's so many names out there that we could go place back and forth. Maybe we could go all from 1 to 10, and they're all up there. Could be the top 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Because there's so much talent right now.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Robert, thank you so much for your time, brother. I can't wait to see that Chocolatito video one day.